The country was at war with Red China. Soon after my 17th article appeared, I was being harassed by the government. As soon as the first shots were fired on the northern border, I discovered that an intelligence man was following me wherever I went. He stood outside my office when I was there and outside my home till late in the nights. One day, a friend informed me that I might get arrested very soon. He said that a rabid Nehruite had seen me sitting in the coffee house and wondered why an anti-government person like Goel, quote-unquote, was going scot-free. He was a minor fry at that time but quite close to the establishment. Later on, he became a minister in Indira Gandhi's government and our ambassador in Moscow. Recently, he was an important minister in the Janata Dal government of Sri V.P. Singh. I had been told by one of his classmates in Lahore that he was a card-carrying communist in pre-partition days. I could very well understand why he felt annoyed with me. He was one of that mob which had been riding on Mao's bandwagon when I was writing against the monster. I reminded the likes of him of their traitorous ways, and they felt uncomfortable whenever they saw me. But they were still in power, and I was nobody. I thought it was wise not to annoy him. I stopped going to the coffee house. I did not want to be in jail. Eventually, I was not arrested for a rather strange reason. My name happened to be not only in the list of anti-government elements, quote-unquote, but also in the list of patriots, quote-unquote, who were expected to wage a guerrilla war against China. It was November 23, 1962. There was a strong rumor that India was going to be air-bombed by China very soon. I received a telephone from a Congress MP. She was a member of the Rajya Sabha. I hardly knew her, having met her briefly in Kolkata, where she was staying with a friend of mine on her return from Red China in 1954. She had seen the Wonderland as a member of the parliamentary delegation led by Renu Chakravarti, the communist MP in the Lok Sabha. She had seen my books on China at my friend's place and invited me for a talk. She had said, "The horror that you have depicted in your books is nothing compared to what I have seen with my own eyes." My friend had asked her to take the country into confidence as people were being misled by communist propaganda. She had barked back, "What are your intentions, young man? Do you want me to be a persona non grata with the Prime Minister?" Next morning, her name was second in the joint statement saying that everything was wonderful in China. I had never met her again. Now she asked me to see her immediately. As soon as I entered her drawing room, she asked me to accompany her to see the Home Minister Sri Lal Bahadur Shastri. She told me that she had seen my name in the list of those who were likely recruits for the forthcoming guerrilla force and taken the responsibility of producing me as soon as she could find me. According to her, the government feared that the Chinese would occupy the whole of eastern India and estimated that it would take us years to liberate the land. As I had lived in that area and knew its people as well as its languages, I had been selected as excellent guerrilla material. I had told her that on the one hand there was a move to put me behind the bars, and on the other I was being viewed as a soldier in the service of the nation. She laughed and said that most of the time the right hand of the government did not know what its left hand did, and that I should not mind such pinpricks, quote-unquote. But I minded and walked out, saying that so long as Pandit Nehru was Prime Minister of the country, I could be only a traitor to it. Years later, I learned that there was actually a move to organize a guerrilla force under the leadership of Sri Biju Patnaik, the future Chief Minister of Orissa. Months passed and the vigil on me was withdrawn. I must confess that I was frightened all the while. I had a large family and I was the only bread earner. My old parents understood no politics. My children were still in school and college. I kept lying low. But the conviction that the truth about Pandit Nehru should be made known was still quite strong. So I thought of publishing my series as a book. It was far from finished. Still, the facts it revealed about the Prime Minister went quite far. After a whole year had passed, I approached Vaidya Garudatta, who had read my series and liked it. He got it published in December 1963. I was feeling happy once again when Ram Swarup told me that my boss was under some sort of a pressure because of my book. I went to him straight and asked him about the nature of the trouble. He became angry and said, "There are communists in our organization and socialists and Jansanghis. All of them have freedom to express their opinions. Why should people object when you say what you believe in intensely?" This is supposed to be a democratic country. I'm not going to yield, whatever the consequences. I told him that I did not want to jeopardize his position and that he could provide protection to me again if he stayed in his place. Then I called his stenographer and dictated the draft of a letter terminating my services with immediate effect. My boss objected. I thought. He said, "You were resigning. I am not sacking you." I said, "I have no honor to save. I am not going to get another job in Delhi. The only gain I care for right now is the 3 months salary I will get if I am sacked. What do I get if I resign?" He got the draft typed and signed it. As he handed the letter to me, I could see him fighting tears in his eyes. It was January 1964. I was on the street once again.